So today we're going to be talking about this percent equation. This is an extension of notes you've done previously where we talked about converting percents to decimals and then the other way around. Okay, so on the top of this note sheet you have these conversions and then you have a special question here where it's asking you, okay, what do we do with that information? Now that we've talked about percents and things like that, how do I use those in real life? So this is an example of a time when you very well could be asking yourself this type of question. If you earned an 85% on a test and it was out of 100 points, that means you got 85 out of 100 right. But what if that test is out of 60 points? That makes things a little bit trickier and I need a little bit of help. So today that's why we're focusing on that help you can get whenever you're solving these percent problems. So let's walk through on that next page. We have some information here about the percent equation. So whenever I give you a percent problem, the very first thing you need to do is convert any percents that you have to a unit rate. That's why we spent so much time on the top of these notes talking about converting things. So remember, if I have something like 12% in a percent problem, I'm going to convert that by moving that decimal 2 spaces to the left, and that unit rate is going to be 0.12. So that is a really, really important step to do first in any percent problem. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to take some of the wording and turn them into algebraic expressions. So anytime you see the word what or what is or things like that, that's going to be your x. That's what you're looking for. Anytime you see the word is, that's going to prompt you to write an equal sign. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And then anytime you see the word of, that's a symbol for multiplication. So 85% of 60, that of tells me to multiply those two things together. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to that original question. If I get an 85% on a 60-point test, what is that? Okay, how many did I get correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take word for word. I'm going to use that key up above. Anytime I see the word what, I wrote an X. Now I see the word is, which means equal. I see a percentage, so I'm going to convert that to a unit rate. So I'm going to move that decimal 2 spots. I see an of, so that tells me to multiply, and I see a 60. So x is already by itself. I'm just going to take 0.85 times 60. Oops, I'm sorry, I wrote it word for word. That's really important. Notice how I just went along down the line and used my key to write an actual equation. Okay, so now I'm going to take 0.85 times 60, and that's going to give me 51. So that means I got a 51 out of 60 if I got an 85% on that test. Okay? All right, so let's do some other types of problems. So I'm going to write this percent equation. So I see a percentage, I'm going to write it as a unit rate, so 0.45 of 600, so I'm going to do multiplied by 600, is equals what number? So again, x is all by itself, so I'm going to just do what it says. So 0.45 times 600 gives me 270. Example number 2, I got 52 is, so I'm going to write equal sign. Now be careful with 4%. I'm going to move that decimal 2 spots to the left, so I'm going to have that empty loop. So it's going to turn into 0.04 of what number? So of x. So this time x is not by itself on one side, so I need to get x alone. So I'm going to divide 0.04 on both sides. So 52 divided by 0.04 gives me 1,300. Okay? Sorry, these are so small down here. So I have what percent, so x, times 225 equals 180. Again, x is not by itself, so I'm going to divide 225 on both sides. 180 divided by 225 gives me 0.80. Now this is a different type of problem because you'll notice it's asking me what percent. So I need to convert this the other way. So now I have a decimal, a unit rate. I need to move that decimal 2 spots to the right now, and 0.8 is the same thing as 80%. So anytime it asks you what percent, you have to kind of do an extra step there. Now this final one, I'd love you to try it on your own. I'll walk you through it. So I have what is 0.20 times 60. I'm going to multiply those two things together. My answer is 12.